I'm Megan Milbourne. I'm a customer success manager here at Yext, where I've had the pleasure of partnering with clients for over 5 years. I'm thrilled to be joined today by Nick Burgess, social media director at First Horizon Bank. In this conversation, we'll explore how First Horizon is evolving its marketing strategy from integrating AI powered tools like ChatGPT and Yext to drive deeper client engagement. Nick shares his team's insight into adapting to regulatory complexity, navigating brand visibility in an era of AI search, and building a marketing tech stack that connects every touch point in the client journey. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, thanks for having me, Megan.
Of course, before we start, can you give us a brief overview of First Horizon and also your role there?
Yeah, so First Horizon is one of the biggest regional banks in the U.S. So we service the American Southeast. We're headquartered in Memphis, Tennessee, where we've been for the last 161 years. We haven't moved, but we have expanded outside of Tennessee. So we now include places like Georgia, Florida, and the Carolinas. And then in 2022, we expanded into a couple more states after the acquisition of Iberia Bank. So we expanded into Louisiana with a big office in New Orleans and out into Texas. As for my role, I am the social media director for the bank. This was a new role established when I was hired back in 2022 and has been part of our larger marketing transformation effort.
Great. So, given how much history the bank has and your role in shaping its future, how has First Horizon's approach to marketing evolved over the past few years, especially in the financial services space?
Yeah, we've had a roller coaster over the last couple of years, especially in the marketing department. So I mentioned I came on early in 2022, and our main focus was getting Iberia Bank transitioned and under one unified brand of First Horizon. But shortly thereafter, we entered into an agreement to be acquired by TD Bank's U.S. division. So our marketing largely shifted away from a brand ideology to more of a down funnel acquisition ideology, where we emphasize conversions and deposits. That merger did end up dissolving with TD about 14, 15 months later. So we immediately switched back to a more balanced approach of getting our brand back in front of people and getting our brand awareness top of mind with new and current clients. Today, we're more focused on fleshing out other parts of our brand, like small business and commercial banking. And we just launched our new brand campaign, The Best of Big and Small, this year.
Okay, so you mentioned a shift in focus after the merger dissolved. What does your team focus on when it comes to social media and brand management, and how does that tie back into the bank's larger marketing goals?
Yeah, the focus of social media and for brand marketing as a whole for us in 2025 and beyond is really balancing the paid, earned, owned model. So paid media is really effective for driving new business very quickly, but it often doesn't have the legs of owned or earned media that takes time to build up, and you may not see those results immediately. But when you build it up over time, you can start to spin that flywheel a little bit faster, and it has effects across the organization. So not just from your owned and earned media, but also your paid media can see a lot more effectiveness when you work to build up the other two legs.
It sounds like you're being really intentional about that long-term engagement. Can you talk more about First Horizon's broader digital transformation journey and what role does marketing play in that evolution?
Yeah, we've undergone a huge marketing transition over the last couple of years. So about 5 years ago, our chief marketing officer, Erin Pryor, came on board. She came from some smaller banks that were closer to fintech or neobanks, but she also had some big bank experience. So she really helped lead the charge on connecting our client experience and bringing marketing along with that. In the last couple of years, our marketing technology team, headed by this guy, Jason Scott, who's one of the preeminent financial services Salesforce experts in the country, has really made strides in implementing a more holistic CRM experience for our clients. We refer to that internally now as FH360 because it's a client touch point all the way around the client experience. So it connects across digital media, website, CRM, banking centers, and even in person with relationship managers and bankers to provide a much more seamless client experience, which has really been the focus of our marketing evolution over the last 5 years.
That integrated client experience, FH360, is so forward thinking. From your perspective, what are some of the major trends maybe internal and external forces that you're seeing in financial services marketing today, and how is First Horizon adapting them?
Yeah, I don't want to sound like every influencer on social media, but this is all about AI for us, right? And being a highly regulated financial services company, somebody might expect that First Horizon is pretty slow to grasp AI. And we've actually been surprisingly progressive on the topic. So we have an AI council internally that really spearheads a lot of the AI adoption as much as we can in a highly regulated industry. They review outside partners for generative AI models. And really what we do is figure out the best way to take these tools and integrate them into our current workflow. We also have a partnership with OpenAI for our own walled off instance of ChatGPT. We call it Chat FHN. But it can be used almost as a bank-wide wiki for all things banking and generative AI, but it also does have some unique use cases in marketing that really help us streamline a lot of our workflows and save a lot of time.
Clearly, you're navigating a lot of complexity from AI to reaching younger audiences. Part of that, I imagine, involves smart partnerships. You've been a longtime customer of both Yext and Hearsay, so what drew you to each platform initially?
Yeah, Yext itself actually predates most of First Horizon's marketing team. Yext was a tool that came to us in the Iberia Bank merger, and it solved an immediate need of how we aggregate our listings to get a better handle of how we're seen online. So this was an immediate tool for us that was a high impact tool for First Horizon. Hearsay is actually something that our wealth team and our wealth line of business was using long before I arrived here a couple of years ago. And they were using the Relate tool to be able to text their clients in a compliant manner. But one of Aaron Pryor, our CMO's 90-day goals for me when I was hired on in 2022 was to get Hearsay Social up and running. And I actually had experience with Hearsay Social at a previous firm, so it was a pretty seamless integration. I was pretty happy to learn that Hearsay was already a partner that was onboarded when I joined the bank.
Nick, you've mentioned the excitement around a unified platform between Hearsay and Yext. Now that they're more integrated, what kind of efficiencies are you starting to see or are you anticipating in the future?
Yeah, we're really excited about the unified platform. One of the big use cases that we have is with our mortgage line of business. So it's no secret that mortgage loan officers really have to be out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's no longer a business of going to an open house once or twice. You really have to put your best foot forward constantly. And that is really where Yext and the Hearsay platforms come in. So our loan officers have their own microsites on firsthorizon.com that features their contact info, their team info, their location, and a bit more information. We can take that information and drive it over to the Hearsay profiles to make build outs on Facebook and LinkedIn much easier to be able to establish credible profiles on both of those platforms. We can also then send that information back from social media onto the microsite to make their web presence more dynamic and a bit more alive than we could before.
That's such a smart way to extend your team's presence online. With the rise of AI powered search, how is First Horizon rethinking brand visibility across digital channels?
Yeah, to be honest, we really weren't. We were not really thinking about AI and AI search until recently. The kick that we kind of needed was actually when a client came into one of our banking centers asking to redeem an offer on our checking accounts that didn't exist. So we reached out to the banking center. They reached out to the client to understand where they'd heard of this offer. And it turns out that the client had Googled First Horizon checking account offers, and Google Gemini had cited an incorrect website and hallucinated a checking account offer that didn't actually exist. And this really underscored our need to get a handle on AI powered search. This really kind of created that impetus for us to make sure our official website is the one being first considered when a client or prospect tends to look us up online.
Wow, yeah, that really does underscore how important it is to control your digital narrative. So, how are you using tools like Yext to make sure your content is accurate and well optimized?
Yeah, so Yext is actually our central content management system for business listings. And what that allows us to do is ensure accurate and optimized content across not only traditional search, but also AI search experiences. So we make updates to bank locations, to ATMs, mortgage loan officers, wealth advisor locations, and we can make those updates to the listings in real time. And to ensure the further accuracy of those listings, we conduct quarterly audits on all of these based on our database that the internal teams provide. So moving forward, we're working on quite a big tech rebuild internally at First Horizon. Yext is going to be a big part of that rebuild, especially with auto syncing listings through our new content API. So that does go live with Yext and our website rebuild later this year.
That sounds like a huge step forward, but as with any transformation, I imagine it wasn't all smooth sailing. So, what challenges have you faced along the way?
Yeah, we faced quite a few, but I think the biggest challenge we faced is the integration of all of our systems. So, in working through FH360, we've had to change a lot of the ways that we operate, relying a lot more on sort of backside linkages and automation rather than putting our hands physically on keyboard to execute. So, this has led to a few growing pains across the team that we have to iron out, but I really think it'll be more beneficial for us in the long run to get this set up now and experience the pain early on and grow into it.
Yeah, it's impressive how you're adapting behind the scenes to make the experience better. Based on that, what advice or best practices would you share with others going through similar transformations?
Yeah, so the biggest piece of advice I can provide here is to bring your outside partners along with you. So we've gone through several partner transitions. We've gone through mergers like Yext and Hearsay. And each time we've had to stop and remember that our legal, compliance, sourcing, procurement, and risk teams don't have the same level of understanding or detail about our partners that we do. So bringing them along from the first step will make our journey a lot smoother.
I think that's such an important reminder. Transparency across teams can make all the difference. I really appreciate your time today, Nick, and I'll end with this final question. Looking ahead, what are you most excited about in your continued work with Yext?
Yeah, we're really excited about Scout. I connected with our SEO director prior to having this conversation, and that was the one thing she really talked about repeatedly. The ability to unlock real time insights and ranking data, especially on the AI side, is going to be so critical for us in the next couple of years and even probably the next couple of quarters. We're also really looking forward to implementing Yext data into places like our social media CMS so we can better close the loop on review data and review information back into our CMS so we can further integrate better into our CRM and FH360. So there's a lot of stuff on the horizon with Yext that we're really looking forward to.
We're equally excited internally here at Yext about Scout as well. So thank you, Nick. And thanks everyone so much for joining Nick and me in this conversation. It's inspiring to see how First Horizon is taking a proactive, innovative approach to digital transformation in a highly regulated industry. We're excited to continue supporting their journey and yours as we shape the future of financial marketing together.
Thanks for having me.